The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, here I am. Welcome to the show. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. Starting off this week strong. I'm feeling strong.
Uh-oh.
That sounded.
You're feeling strong.
Yeah, I'm feeling strong. I think. Yeah,
Why
I
is
feel
that?
good.
You got a workout today?
I did. I already got it done, and
Nice.
my schedule is insane today. I shared it on the girls' chat because I needed someone to bear witness to it. I really don't. I was like, I don't even know where I'm going to walk my dog in this. It's just back to back, and it's just talking all day long and different things. But I started it out with a Pilates, work like a plank class, a Legree class, and I finished it, and it was so hard because I'm out of shape because I've been on the road for so long, and I'm back in St. Louis, and I went to my regular class, and it was so difficult. And then I was like, nothing I do today is going to be as hard as that just was. That's why I did it. It's like,
And you
talking.
did it first thing in the morning, right? Because you were up at 6.
I don't always do it first thing in the morning, but I was up at 6. I like to get up 2 hours before I have to go to that class because it leaves me time to walk the dog, which, by the way, it's dark at 6 in the morning, which I didn't know because I don't ever get up at 6 in the morning. Sometimes I do to catch a flight, but like, you can't walk your dog when it's dark. I can't. Like, I'm a single lady and I'm defenseless. And when it's dark, it's dangerous. You can't, like, my neighborhood is kind of getting spooky lately.
Hey, well, it's spooky season.
Halloween
It's
time.
not
is
for that
good.
reason. It's because of homelessness and our country's inability to handle it. And I am
they're just celebrating the season.
Yeah, it's all cosplay.
they're
That
leaning
guy
into
running
the-
around with a knife was just pretending to be.
festive.
Yeah, he's festive.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I really got accosted last night with my mom, and she was like, "You do this alone?" And I'm like, every single time. And every time I go downstairs now, my neighborhood, I think everyone's felt this shift. Not everyone, but a lot of people have felt a shift in their neighborhoods where over just a couple months, you're like, I'm feeling less safe more and more often. There's always someone who I've got to keep my eye on. I can't have my AirPods in anymore. I can't be on my phone. I have to be alert of what's going on around me. I'm jumping a lot more, like, when there's like someone that's not scary, I'm just like, it's
Before Brian
it's giving
comments,
Halloween.
Can I give you a quick self-defense tactic that you can carry in the morning when you're walking Goldie at 6 a.m. and it's
Yes.
dark? Very easy. It's not mace. It's not those like knuckle things to
It's
punch
not
anyone.
screaming fire.
It's not screaming fire. You just take a really bright little flashlight, and if you feel someone is walking up and attacking you, you can just blind them and then run.
So I should have my phone out because that flashlight on your phone is very intense.
I would say more intense with like an
More
actual
intense. Okay, like a
flashlight.
very intense flashlight.
Yeah, you need to get like a lot of lumens.
That's a great idea.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
And that's been
Okay.
your self-defense tip from Noah.
Thank you for that. I think that's something that everyone can employ because you probably have a flashlight laying around. I'm just like, I don't think people understand what it's like to be a lady walking around at night. It's like, and it's getting.
Even I'm a man, and I feel the same way. I even in my little Culver City is supposed to be like a pretty safe, like Beverly Hills-esque area, but no, it's just like compared to where I grew up, like in the suburbs of Long Island, I feel so frequently in danger when I'm walking
Yes.
my dog at night.
Yes.
There's just always somebody. And one of the reasons why it's so bad in LA as opposed to like New York City, where you see a lot of suspicious characters roaming the streets, is that in LA, at least, you're always alone. If you're walking around at night and there's a crazy person, it's just you and him.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
There's not
that's the way it
enough
is in St.
people.
Louis. There's not enough people either down here. And it really is. Last night I was actually hoping for an incident so I would have to get out of all my work today. I honestly told my mom, I was like, I just want to be injured enough that everyone goes, take the day off, or like spooked enough. Like I just want something to like I was kind of wishing something would happen one of those days, but it really is like I have to move. Like I've had to do this many times in my life, like not many, but a couple where like I lived in LA in 2007. And I remember there was just a string of weirdos that started hanging out. And like one time a guy was masturbating on the street where I was trying to park and I would have to like pass by. He was standing just in the middle of the street, jerking off. I had to like drive around him, and I was looking for parking, and he was standing in front of my apartment. He didn't know that's where I lived or something. That's just where he chose to stand that night. And so I just had to keep driving, and I was like, I can't, this is unmanageable.
That guy was just celebrating Easter. I mean, these people you're just around very festive places. But you lived in like a downtown area where there's like a lot of walkable stores and stuff. Like, is that why there's so many people around?
It's on the cusp of a bad neighborhood. You know, like St. Louis is very like one block over, and it's like the city doesn't fund it properly. Like it's all messed up here. It's a great place to live. Our crime rates are through the roof because it's like it's a neighborhood I'm not even near. Like we have. There's some reason why we have such horrible crime rates, and it's because
Chris
of like
was saying it in the truck.
Oh, the county and the city are like not the same. We have different. I don't know. I've heard it explained so many times.
Like most crime rates, I'm gonna guess what he said. Most crime rates take into account just the city or just the entire county. And for St. Louis, you're getting just the city, and so that inflates it per capita. Or something.
The city and the county are like separate, but everyone just thinks that most of St. Louis is county, and they just think it's all of our city numbers. But yeah, I'm not in like a crimey area.
You're not in like Tikrit. You're not walking around like worried that you're in the wire. You're going to shot any second.
I am lately though. I'm not. I mean, it's you know what it is. It's homeless people who are having psychotic breaks. It's not like even violent crimes that are premeditated or like muggings. Like it's just I'm scared of being stabbed by someone who got a new knife that day at the bins at Goodwill and is.
Well, that's the real problem.
I walk in some way
they need to
that
stop
reminds them of their
putting
mom.
free knives in the bins at Goodwill.
I mean, who knows what they're going to find? Like, but just like twitchy people who aren't properly medicated having psychotic breaks. I honestly feel so bad for that. Like, there's no part of me that's like, ew, get out of here. I'm just like, this fucking guy. Last night, this guy really scared me and my mom. He was like, he was like waiting for us outside my apartment building door, like the main door. We came out to walk Goldie. He's right there, and he's like, "Can you call this number?" And he's like, looks like his shirt's all torn. He's barefoot, and just but he has his paper, and he's like, "Will you please call? Like, I don't have a phone, and I need to have my friend pick me up." And thank God I didn't have my phone on me, because I go, "Dude, I don't even have my phone. I'm so sorry." And I said, "Sir," I always try to look them in the eye. I try to give them respect, because that guy would be me if I grew up as that guy. Like, that guy didn't do anything in his life that made him deserve to be accosting me at that moment. Not that it's not scary, not that I'm not frustrated by it, but I was just, my mom was more like, "What the fuck was that?" And I was like, that poor fucking guy.
Yeah, you have compassion.
Didn't have a chance. And I doubt I'd have compassion as he was stabbing me in my eyes, but pulling a King Lear on my face. But I would feel like I would find it eventually. It's just so sad. But anyway, I am feeling strong today. So because I have that flashlight.
You'll be stabbing him.
Yeah.
This time.
I blind him with my flashlight. Those flashlights on our phones are fucking intense though. But that is such a good idea that I would never have thought of, Noah. Did you just learn that? Have you always known that?
No, I had to learn it.
Okay.
I learned it a couple of years ago when, I mean, it's just like, I don't really feel safe walking alone. And especially now that I'm not living in Brooklyn anymore, and there's no one like on the street. There are no sidewalks where I live. So I have to like literally walk on the side of the road.
Yes.
So, and now that I'm walking with a baby, it's even a little bit more.
It's even safer because you can throw the baby at the.
Oh yeah, you distract. They're blinded by the cuteness.
Just launch the stroller to distract them. But
I heard that in like some countries where there's gypsies. I don't know if that's the right word, but
it's not. But that's
it's archaic.
So where there's the babushkas, what are they? So are these folks
People?
that?
No, just kidding.
What are they called?
What are you trying to say?
Yeah.
Something bad.
Okay, so let's
So
start
let me just
over.
stick with gypsies. If I'm already gonna do it, so
Okay.
you go to Spain or whatever the gypsies roam. And
People like people who are like grifters, trying to steal
but
things.
they're an ethnicity, aren't they? Or they're like a sect.
I'm not putting that on there. You might be. But okay, so there's
I know-
canceled.
I know
we
that
need
they're
to
not
cut
called
this, like-
gypsies, but we don't know the correct word. So,
okay.
I heard stories that they'll in certain countries because they want to rob you.
Yeah.
They'll take a baby and they'll throw it at you.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
And you'll have to catch the baby, unless you're a monster and you just drop the baby. And while you're like, oh my God, and you're trying to catch the baby,
I'd
someone
probably catch
pickpockets
anything
you.
something threw at me.
Is that a real thing?
Anything someone threw at me.
Yeah, like a grenade.
It doesn't need to be a baby. But I've heard of that. And by the way, I get really uncomfortable when people say they got gypped.
Mm-hmm.
That feels...
I haven't
think
heard
that's-
that in a long time.
I heard it the other day, like on my friend's like broadcast show. Like they said it, you could tell that they didn't know it wasn't something you should not say anymore. And again,
Especially
I don't
'cause-
quite know why, but it's because gypsies are an ethnicity, and they're
Oh no,
Yeah.
we don't know.
I think they are.
Instead of saying
We're-
gyps, you could just say Jude. You Jude. They Jude us. They Jude
That's
us
the one
out.
people know not to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just people don't catch up to what's not right anymore. What did I say?
Sometimes
the other
I
day?
hear words and I go, "There's just no way that that's appropriate. There's no way." So I was listening to. Sometimes I listen in on my wife on her work calls,
Mhm.
and frequently on her work calls she used the phrase, "Let's get into the nitty gritty."
Mm.
And I was like, "There's just no way that nitty gritty
Sounds dirty.
There's just no way that's an appropriate word." And I looked up nitty gritty.
There's no
You're
way it's not.
not
It's
gonna
totally
believe.
appropriate.
Wait,
You're
what?
not gonna believe
Seriously?
the origin of nitty gritty.
Okay.
It's like word. I don't even know if I could say it on this podcast. It's so offensive and bad.
What? Really?
That's right. You can't say
So
nitty
it
gritty.
is? You can't? No one
you
knows this,
can't.
Brian. This is breaking
No one
news.
knows. The origin of nitty gritty is nitty gritty came from the filth left behind in slave ships coming across the ocean. That was the nitty gritty.
What?
That's right. It's like as bad as it sounds.
I cannot believe that, and I cannot believe that you even knew that there was something off about that. Like
I
you had
just-
the
it
instinct, because it
sounded
doesn't.
like-
It sounds so innocuous to me.
It's just.
But we
I mean,
can't
to
be
me,
saying that anymore.
That's what I told her. I was like, "Don't say nitty gritty in your. Say something else. Let's get into the details. Let's.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
And okay, so that's
Okay.
not one. I don't think I ever really say it, but that's okay. That's interesting etymology. I was just reminded of something I said. Oh, there's a word that we used to talk about this on You Up. There's a word that sounds like it combines every slur into one word, and it's a word you can say, and it's not the word that sounds like the N word. By the way, I do not like that word. I know you can use that word, and it means something else. If you add a "dlee" at the end of it, do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, take the N word, and if you add
Okay.
"dlee" at the end of it, it's a different
okay.
word.
Yeah.
That people sometimes use. I'm just like, what are you even doing? Like, stop trying to sneak it in. And I know you can
Right,
get away with
right.
it, but this is like, no, that's not okay.
It's even more offensive if you add an to the end of "deli." There you go.
Delia.
There we go. Comedy fan. No,
Okay, the
I hear
word-
people say it all the time, and I'm like, you got to stop. Like, this is inappropriate.
No. Do they?
I mean, not all the time. I guess I'm not like walking around listening. People, but no, I hear
I
people
don't even
say
want
it.
to type it in. I was about to type it in to like see the definition.
Well,
I'm on
it's-
private
it's
browsing and I'm
AR.
not even going to do it.
At least
I know it's
AR.
AR.
Yeah, we know.
But still, come on, let's not.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, what
word
about-
that
okay,
I'm
you
talking
know, like-
about. Okay, what?
Even with it's a salad dressing, but it's a very basic salad
Oh.
dressing. It's oil and
I know, but
And I don't-
I'm not going to say it because it sounds
that's just a condiment, and I
and
don't
it
feel like
just
that's
but
appropriate
you-
either.
But you do say it.
You say it.
Can I just say that I got some? Oh boy, I had someone made some stationery for me. Didn't ask for it. Didn't need it. It was a gift. I forget from who. I put it away forever. I just looked at it once and was like, nope, can't send that to anyone because my initials are NRG. Okay, but when you do stationery, you put the last name in the middle, so it just says NGR
Wait,
on
why?
my stationery.
Wait,
Okay,
why
do you know
does
what
the
I'm
last
talking
name go
about?
in the middle?
Because
That is what they
That's how it
do
works.
for a
Yeah.
signet.
A signet? Whoa,
Like,
Nikki. Jesus.
I think
Is it
that's
like
the
a
word.
You
monogram?
can't say signet.
Yeah, monogram. On monograms, they put so yours would be BFT
No.
A
No. It's the most common men's name you could think of.
J.
No. You got it.
I don't know. C.
No. That's
D.
very basic men's name.
Well, I mean, just let's not play this game.
M.
Matthew.
Yes.
Okay, so yours would be BFM. With if you got stationary, the F would be big, the B and the M would be like kind of in the background, flanking it. Do you agree with me, Noah? That's what
Why
stationary
is it
does.
like
Yes,
that?
yes. I've seen that.
Why the middle initial is so big?
I had never witnessed my name.
It's
put
not the
like
middle initial.
this.
It's the last name that gets big.
Yeah, the last name is the front big letter. Okay,
Okay.
and then the
Oh.
two other letters are flanking it on the sides.
I see. Okay.
So Glaser would be I'm Glaser, and then Nicole Renee on the sides.
Wow.
But NGR looks like something else.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing they don't let you put that on your license plate because it looks so much. And sometimes, you know, when you go like, we sent a confirmation email to the email given, and then it has your like
Yes.
email, but it does star.
Oh,
Yes.
Or like
God.
your name. Well, my email used to be my full name. And so it would say NI star ER.
I have the same thing, Nikki, with my name.
Oh my God, yours is wow. That is crazy. Yes. And so it makes me very uncomfortable.
annoying.
But that stationary, I just showed it to Chris the other day. I just go, look at this. And he goes, no fucking way. Because it's just so, I'm almost keeping it like just a relic of like, can you believe someone thought this was a good idea? I forget who, it was something like, Ant who made it for me or something, but it's unusable, completely unusable. And it was very expensive and it's nice. It's like gold plated.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I on my Chase account, they abbreviate stuff on the Chase account all the time, and I had a Subaru loan, which I've paid off, but it said the way it abbreviated was I've posted this on my Instagram, so some people might have seen it. Subaru AC ... UNT. So it just said
You're a cunt.
Subaru a cunt.
Subaru a cunt.
That's what it said.
Wait,
I was
why
like,
is
Chase.
the UNT?
Account.
Account.
It's the end of account.
My God.
I was like, this probably happens a lot. Where it's the perfect amount of letters to get the A to get the C ... UNT. Like Chase needs to.
Oh God, words are fun. But the
I
word I was
know.
going to say that sounds like all of the ones combined, you're not even going to believe
Oh my.
this word. And it is a word that you've heard.
Okay.
I think we probably talked about it on the show. Okay, so if you're drinking water, so say it's a hot summer day,
Okay.
and you go to the place where you attach the hose usually, and you get some water from the.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you're
I'll
right.
say it.
yes.
We've said it before.
Well,
It's just too
spigot?
funny because spigot.
It's a combination of every slur.
Single slur in it.
That's so
It's
And
a
also-
one slur fits all.
The name of the people who say slurs is in it.
Bigot.
Yeah. It's a.
Oh, I
It's
was
a
thinking the
portmanteau.
was something else. Was representative of another slur. But yeah.
No, well,
it's-
it all is. If you took every single slur and put it in a machine and created a slur homunculus, you'd get spigot.
My God. My God. We're going to take a break. We'll come back with more show after this. So, yeah, I'm feeling very strong today. Went to my class. And then I had an interview about Anthony Jeselnik for Vulture. They're writing a piece on him, and so I was asked to contribute. And I was watching a lot of his. It was fun because I got done with the class, and then I was just getting ready for my day, and I just put on Anthony Jeselnik YouTube, and then it was just playing at 2 times the speed. I was just trying to catch up with all the jokes. It was so fun. He's so good, and I felt like it made me a little bit more savage in my thinking for the day because I just absorb whatever I'm listening to so much. And when
I
we
like
got on
Anthony
the call,
Jeselnik's latest. He's like a comedy sage now. Like he has like the beard and he sits and calmly in interviews and says like wisdom instead of.
He's great.
Yeah.
He like what have you learned?
Oh, I don't remember any of it, but I just know his general demeanor has been sage-like.
Yeah. It's like you're hanging on his every word. He uses word economy. He's not trying too hard ever. His comedy never seems sweaty, even if he is sweating literally. It always seems I really was reminded of how much I like his comedy. And but I said on the interview, we got on the call, and I really didn't have time for this interview, but I was like, you know what? I should do it because he would do it for me. And then I go, no, he wouldn't. Like, no, he wouldn't. And that's why I love Anthony Jeselnik, is that I love him enough to know that even though he's my friend, he probably would be like, no, I'm not going to do that. And he would say it to my face. And he has good boundaries. And yeah, so, but I do tend to make decisions like about what I'm going to do for people. It's like, oh, would they do it for me? And that one, I was like, yeah, he'd do it for me. And then I thought, after listening to his comedy, I was like, no, he wouldn't. If he had my schedule, he would not do anything else today.
Hey,
but I
on
fit
the
it in for
topic,
you, Anthony.
on the topic of stuff that you're doing, besties wanted to know: did you ever audition for that car commercial? And
Yes. Oh my God.
did that
Thank
work
you
out?
so much for asking. Okay. So I like forgot about it until I remembered it on the podcast. And then I forgot about it even more. And then it was the day it was due. And then DMB Radio, who I do the voice of, asked me to send in a bunch of live reads for Dave all weekend long or whatever those things are. And I didn't have any of my recording equipment. I was in New York. And I go, but I could come into Sirius and just record it in studio if you have the space. But what I was really thinking was, and then I'll do an audition for the commercial. And then they said yes. And I was like, by the way, can I also do a quick audition while I'm there? And they were happy to cut it. It took 2 seconds. And I am happy to say I did not hear back because I don't have time in my life to become the voice of a luxury car brand. I'm sure they're still deciding, but I sent it in a week and a half ago. And thanks for bringing it up because now I'm reminded that I didn't get it. That's the funny thing about auditions. And I was just joking when I said that. You don't know you don't get things until they just air. Like no one ever tells you no. Like you don't find out even huge things you're up for. If it's down to you and another person, no one wants to break bad news to you, so no one tells you. Your agents might find out you didn't get it, but they don't tell you. And honestly, I don't want to fucking know most of the time if I don't get something. I'd rather just keep this hope alive until it just dies on its own. And by the time the thing airs, I don't even care. And by the way, I auditioned for Megalopolis. That was a huge part of my life. And I'm so glad that didn't happen. Not because it's a megaflopolis or whatever. It's because I just it's not as big of a deal as I thought it would be. You go I would be in a Francis Ford Coppola movie. My life would change. It wouldn't change at all.
No.
The person who got my role, I haven't seen one thing about. I've read a lot about the movie. The role wasn't that substantial. It's not because that person didn't do a great job. I'm sure they did amazingly, but it just was so important that fucking week of my life. Flew out there, had to do hair and makeup for it. Spent probably close to $1,000 on acting lessons for it, and then it doesn't happen. It felt like such a letdown, and then the thing happens, and you're just no one even cared, and no one liked it. And even if I would have been in it, nothing. It just no one cares about anything anymore.
Nothing moves the needle.
Nothing moves the needle.
We have no culture. That's the problem. We have zero culture. We're just siloed in these little buckets, and we all watch one.
There's too much culture.
We all watch a show for 5 people, and it's you and your 5 people see it, and there's nothing unified about us other than our politics, I guess,
And
which
football.
is horrifying. And
Football is unifying.
Yeah.
That is still being watched. And by the way, this weekend, I was at a Taylor Swift concert and I went to go to the bathroom, which I never do, but I did because I was in a suite and it was I had the room to do it. And so I went to the bathroom and I was coming back and I saw an amazing play by Patrick Mahomes that I witnessed it live. Like I was like, what the fuck? Oh my God. Whoa. Holy shit. He keeps going. Oh, whoa, what? Bah. And I was alone at the TV going like, oh my God. What? Bah. And I was looking around for any man to confirm that it was amazing what I just saw, because I didn't really like, I'm still in that stage of like not knowing if what I think is cool is actually cool. Cause sometimes I'm really very off about it. And so I was looking around for any man. There was no men around. It was in this like big lounge area with all this food, and it was an amazing setup. We had like a box suite. Thank you so much to the owner of the Miami Dolphins, Tom Garfinkel, for hooking me up and my friends for 2 nights of Taylor Swift shows in your box suite with this amazing, like it's called The Nine at the Miami Dolphin Stadium. And it's this private place that you get to go to. And they have a cafeteria of like gourmet food with different stations, every kind of food you could ever want, done in the most beautiful way with like garnishes of like flowers. You know, when there's flowers on your food, it is high end. Like it was Miami's finest. And the people that worked there were so proud of their jobs, like waiting on you. Like, honestly, this woman that was waiting on us, shout out to Kim, I believe her name is. She's coming to my show in Fort Lauderdale next week. She was like, she got me a tampon. I felt so bad asking. She wanted to put it in for me. I mean, this woman was so helpful. She couldn't stop helping us. She was like disappointed that she couldn't do more. Like, she was amazing. Anyway, I see this play and I'm like, oh my God. And then I go, am I watching a highlight reel? Because this was just too good. Like that I just happened to look at the screen for a second when Patrick Mahomes was doing this amazing thing. And then I thought nothing of it. I just went back to the show and had a great time. And then got home and it's all over my Instagram as like the best moment. Did you see it? Do you know what I'm talking about, Brian?
Yeah, he scrambled around and then threw a touchdown pass. Was it that?
No, he didn't throw. He just he scrambled so far.
Okay. I mean, I probably saw it. I didn't. It's not like sticking out.
I felt really good. I got home and then I sent it to Chris and I go, is this impressive? Is this like something that I should have been like, yeah. Like when I have moments where I feel like I understand sports, you guys get it. Like I'm so happy. I feel like I'm in a foreign country and I just like I for the first time went around and talked the language and didn't need to look in my little dictionary or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it feels so good to know when something's cool. So that was a great moment for me this weekend, among many others.
Talk about the weekend, because
I was in Florida all weekend. Started off Friday night, Taylor Swift concert, private suite, so nice, so accommodating.
Who'd you go with?
I went with Emily, Gen Z M, and I went with Noor Hadidi, who did my the deep dives that we did on the Tortured Poets for the podcast. I flew her in from Toronto because she had not Toronto. I mean, you don't say that extra T. She had not ever been to an Eras show. And I was like, we got to remedy that. And then I also, Chris was supposed to go, but he had to work and couldn't get out of work. And so I was like, oh, I invited my mom. She turned it down. She's like, it's too much. I can't do it. It's too much. So then my sister also said it's too much. I can't make it work. And then she fucking rallied and made it work. And my sister got to come out and we had the best time. And it was such a great show, obviously. I think that was my 18th. And then, and I also got to, I'm really into Gracie Abrams now, and she's opening for her on this last leg of shows. And so I got to see Gracie Abrams and like, I got to scream, sing her song. So I got like 2 concerts in one of my 2 favorite artists right now of all time, which is just insane.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, drove up to or down. I don't know the direction. Why would I pretend to? 2.5 hours down the coast, I think, maybe up to Vero Beach to go to Andrew Collins' wedding. And
it looked like it went well.
It went so well. It was so sweet. Like, you know, you just kind of think that like with a friend like Andrew, who's just like always about the joke, and it's like, I've obviously been taking their relationship seriously for years now. There's no question that it's like just such a great thing for him and his life, and she's so amazing. But like, you know, everything's just a joke with him. Like, not in a way that I'm dismissive of it. It's just like, you know, it's not like there's not a lot of sentimentality around my feeling with Andrew, I thought. But man, was I a blubbering fucking mess right away. Like,
you cried?
Right away. Like, the music, I sat down. We were very late getting there because I underestimated how long it would take to get there. I instantly got ready, was late the reception was supposed to start at 4:45. I got there at like 5:10. So I was late, but thank God they were running late too. Perfect timing for everyone. Sat in the back row. The music started within seconds of me running down, and I was in no state to cry yet, by the way. Like, I was just like, oh, I'm just getting ready for a wedding, and like, I'm excited, and like, oh, whatever. But the second the music started playing, and I see his mom, like, being wheeled down, she's in a wheelchair. That was not why I was crying. His mom could have been walking or running
I
or
hate
sprinting.
wheelchairs so much.
Yeah.
Why is it here?
I was just like, right away. I did the same thing happened at Brian's wedding, overwhelmed with emotions that hit me like a tornado that hit Andrew's first
It's like the
wedding
emotions
venue.
came out like a spigot.
Exactly. Like splash, just splashing tears down my face. Couldn't control it. It was just, I don't even know what, I honestly still can't really pinpoint what the feeling is, because I don't anticipate it. Like, I think that some people are like, oh, weddings always get me. Oh, I can't watch these kind of commercials because they get me. I just like I'd never see it coming. And then I was crying the whole ceremony. And then we get to, it was just like beautiful. They did.
How did Andrew do on his vows?
Well, you didn't get to see them, right?
Well, no, the vows they did alone to each other before on the beach. Like, they did it, like they wanted to do it alone, and
That's
I have to
right.
have everyone here, which was the right move because they didn't have a PA system outside, and it was so fucking windy that you couldn't hear anything. You could kind of just see what was happening. So they like exchanged the classic vows, but the vows that they gave each other, I guess Andrew forgot to vow anything. Like, he just said how he felt about her. And like, it was really well, like he shared some of it with me, and it was like, I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is like exactly
Right.
what any girl would want to hear. It's exactly what I would want to hear my future husband say to me. But he forgot, I guess the next day we were driving with him and Brenna, and he was laughing about how he was like, I kind of forgot to like vow things, like say what you're going to do. I was like, oh yeah. Like, he let me kind of proofread his speech before, or his vows. And I didn't catch that either. So it was on both of us. Sorry, Brenna. I forgot that part of it too. So I guess he can do anything he wants because he didn't vow anything.
He's off. He's got free.
Yeah. But I credit your wedding so much, Brian, even though it was like so full of like funny, like I was crying and laughing, and like, it's just so touching, like to just be so sincere and have no kind of like irony about it. And to have just everyone's family and there's just so much love, and like, there's not even like an ounce of bad will in the room. Like, there's few places where there's just no egos or anything. It's just like devoid of any cynicism for like one fucking 15-minute
Some
moment.
weddings have a lot of cynicism and opinions and drama going on in the back.
That's true.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
It depends on the family. I mean, there's a lot of drama at some weddings, and it's a testament to Andrew and I guess to me that you surrounded yourself with loving people, whereas there might be sometimes you don't get to choose because of your family. But I think for Andrew too, and for me, like, we didn't have actually a lot of family come, so it was mostly just people we selected to come, who I made a point of eliminating people from my life who would bring that drama. It's just not worth it at all.
Or like make it anything about other than what it is, and just like celebrating love. I just saw a comedian's clip this morning that was like, I'm tired of weddings. Like, if you guys are doing well, just like keep it to yourselves. Like, we don't need to like see it. And I thought that was kind of a good point. Like, don't waste everyone's time to be like, look how great we are. Like, it's a funny way to look at it. Like, weddings are just like letting everyone know, like, we're awesome. And, but I really just love weddings. I think it's, much like I feel about football games. I didn't expect to love them as much as I do. I love weddings too. I just love them. And, there was a part of it that made me feel like, oh, and then the reception was like so sweet, and all the speeches and, were funny, and Andrew was just like so happy. Like, it's just so cute to see someone like so happy and like so certain of what this is what they want. Like, it was just a celebration. It was just awesome to see him be the belle of the ball. I mean, obviously Brenna she looked stunning. Like beyond stunning. Like, there's not even a word for it. Like, I don't even understand what I was like looking at as how pretty she looked, and like glowy and just perfectly. Like,
she was so happy. Also,
were gorgeous and so happy, but Yeah, he was just so happy. And it was so nice to see my friend just like taking a huge step in their life that I was just so proud of him, which I was, pride was supposed to be a feeling that I was supposed to be trying to eradicate because it means that like you are giving yourself a pat on the back for being like, I'm like, I have a friend that's like making great decisions. I was grateful to have
pride is
someone.
a confusing thing because it's like you're supposed to feel proud, like you have, and there's like gay pride, but like it's also a sin.
Gay pride just sounded like you were saying like there's like kind of pride that's like not as cool. It's like gay pride. Like it didn't, I forgot about the month or not. You know, the whole
yeah. There's
movement.
gay pride. There's gay envy.
Yeah. Well, and then, so on top of me feeling like so emotional about Andrew, crying so much when he danced with his mom, she got out of the wheelchair and they danced. It was so sweet. His love healed her. Brenna and his love healed her for just a moment. And they danced. It was so cute. Cry. But we were done by like 10:30. I think the reception was over. The songs had been played. Everyone was tired. And I went, and I was so tired because I had Taylor Swift the night before and had to drive there and everything. So I was like, this is perfect. No one's expecting me to go to an after party. This is great. And then I realized, oh my God, it's 10:30. I'm on the East Coast. Emil Joachim is about to be on SNL. I have an hour to like get my PJs, eat more food than I ate at the wedding because I ate at the wedding, but I just, just get my like, I had so much food like ready to like just fucking go to town on when I was finally like alone. You know how we do. And so I got so comfy and then watched SNL, which is my other time in my life that I've felt so proud of a friend that I don't even know. I've never felt this like happy for friends before, like my friends giving birth and my friends being on SNL, like career wise, I've never felt this happy for a friend before.
Oh yeah,
that I felt for Emil, which I've talked about. But
and he was on Weekend Update.
On Weekend Update, and he didn't tell anyone because he was scared it was going to get cut. So I had been texting him, being like, "Tell me what's going on this week," because he's been very like open and and available, to be honest with you, like to text and talk about stuff. And this week I was crickets. And I go, oh God, he must be really in it. But he said that he purposely didn't tell anyone. He didn't even tell his parents because I was texting with his parents being like, I can't believe he just killed so hard on his first desk piece. Like his debut to the industry in this massive way on this, the best comedy stage possible. Absolutely crushed. And they were like, we didn't even know. Because he didn't tell us, and he said he didn't tell anyone because he was scared it was going to get cut. But he killed it, and so I just had this like, I was crying about Emil, I was crying about Andrew. I just had a day of just being so happy for my friends, which feels so.
And your friend had a baby also, all in the same weekend.
Oh my God! And then Sarah Lena had a baby, which, by the way, everything Sarah Lena does, she does like so many incredible things, but it's just so there's no pomp around any of it. Do you agree?
I know. Yes, I do agree.
I've heard, no offense, Kirsten, I know you're listening. I've heard more about you pumping in your 4th week of having a baby. Like there's been more pomp around that pump than there has been for her entire, like I would say both births. And I like hearing about the pumping. I like there should be a lot of, like, I'm telling my pregnant friends, or anyone who's going through pregnancy or is just going through pregnancy, talk about it all the fuck you want. I am not one of those childless women who's like, enough about the babies. Like, you should talk about it nonstop. It's all I would be talking about. So I never begrudge you talking about it. But Sarah Lena's just like, oh, girls, I just had a baby. I don't know. So what's going on with you? Talk about something else. I'm sorry this is so boring. It's going on so long. We're like, wait, tell us any details. And she's like, I don't know, girls. She was 8 pounds, 9 ounces, and she's healthy. And there was,
4 pushes.
It took 4 pushes, and I don't know, girls. I'm talking too much about myself. Nikki, tell me about Taylor Swift. And I'm like, I cannot talk about Taylor Swift right now. When you have just given birth, it's not allowed. I'm not allowed to. This is insane. But she's just so like, tell me what you got. What are you wearing tonight? What's going on with the show? Who's going with you? And like, while she's in labor, she's asking these things. She's just so like flippant about the amazing things she does. I mean, it's truly incredible. But yeah, Sarah Lena gave birth to her second baby, and that happened on Thursday night?
Friday.
What a weekend.
Friday night. So it was like, it was just, and then, with Kirsten going through it, with you going through it, Noah, like it's been just a great, and then Anya's album is coming out this Friday. Asteroid, which everyone needs to get and pre-order now, and just support her in every way you can. Post stories about it, like add it to playlist on Spotify. All of that helps so much. We love Anya so much, and this album is like one of her best. I think it's her best album ever. That's what she's been saying, and I'm obsessed with
great.
almost, I think, like every track. It's so fucking good. And I think you'll hear a lot of the same themes. If you listen to the podcast a lot, you obviously know Anya, but if you don't, you'll like hear things from girls chat, and just she's living in the same world we are. So I think you'll really enjoy the album. And so all of these exciting things are happening. I just gotta say, it's kind of, as someone who does a lot of big stuff and is often the one having friends be like, whoa, like it was so fun to watch you. Like, I like being on the other side of it almost, I think, more. And that makes me feel really good, because when things start to go away for my career, I can still, it's nice to know that like I can watch younger comics who I'm friends with like have the wins that have and not feel like a jealousy. Like there was no jealousy about Emil's thing, even though I'm sorry, if you would have asked me a year ago if your friend gets SNL and is like, even though I don't want SNL in that way, like I don't want to, I'm not a cast, like that's not what my calling is right now, I would have probably said I'll be a little bit jealous. There'll be a little part of me that's just like, man, I like, because it's just, you can't help feelings of that. I know myself, but I'm so glad to have matured
don't take it to the
past
next,
that.
right? Like you don't take it to the next step, whereas some so-called friends do, and you know they just get like jealous, and then you have to manage different personalities and stuff.
But I do. Here's the thing. Everyone, I do still suffer with massive, massive jealousy of my great friends. And here's the difference between me and other, like I witness my friends have friends in their life who have the same jealousy that I have in my heart over the wins in their life. And they're so sloppy and obvious with it. Tuck that shit in. Stop being so obvious that you're so jealous of your friend's life by okay, if you're a girl like me who gets jealous of everyone and compares themselves to everyone else, I'll admit it. It's a flaw. I don't like it about myself. If I could get rid of it and shed it like a skin, like a lizard, I would. I can't. Don't be mad at me about it. Sometimes I'm jealous. But here's what I do. I don't do. I do the opposite. So if I'm jealous of someone, I just lean in and I celebrate that thing. I don't do the fucking shitty thing that so many of my girlfriends, I know when my girlfriends come to me and say, blah, 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 never complimented we just put an addition on the house and they came over and they stayed in it and they didn't compliment it. She's fucking jealous. My friend just saw the baby for the first time and was kind of like flippant about it. She's jealous. Stop being so sloppy with your jealousy, ladies. Do the opposite and no one will know you're jealous, because it's such a bad look. It's not a good quality to have, to be so envious. So when you act disinterested, when you don't say to your friend, you look amazing, when she's just lost a bunch of weight, even though you're jealous because you want to lose weight too and you haven't figured it out yet or whatever's going on in your life, say you look great to your friend. Say the opposite of the thing you're feeling, or say what you are feeling. You know, say like, you can even say, I'm so jealous of you right now. Like, just be honest, but don't do the thing where you act like when I met John Mayer and was like, hi, I'm Nikki, what's your name? Like, don't do that shit. Don't act like you don't do the opposite, because it stinks of, we know what's going on. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, I encounter people all the time that are like, my mom will tell me stories about like people who say things to her, and I'm like, it is so obvious she's jealous. There's just no other reason,
especially
for it.
That generation. Yes, 100%.
Oh, come on, everyone. We can be jealous. We can be petty. We can be our sickest selves and so envious of others and covet what other people have. But just hide it better. It's so embarrassing.
It's kind of funny to be like, I'm so jealous of you. I want to take this from you.
Yeah.
I want you to not have it so I can have it.
Well,
you don't
honest.
deserve this, and I want to kill you. You know, like stuff like that.
Yeah, I haven't been there with it, but like I have, and I've talked about it so much. Like when I feel threatened on Instagram by someone being funnier than me, and it's truly a funny clip, and I want it to go away because it's so funny and it makes me feel like you're not as funny, I gotta post it. I gotta fucking post it. Yeah. You gotta go the opposite way to combat it, because you don't want to be that person that's like makes others feel worse because you feel threatened by how great they look or whatever. Like,
and
even though I've done that a million times.
Positive energy. Not if you surround yourself with negative energy, then you will produce negative things.
And also, I was talking more about like a cohesive group of friends, like our girls chat. We're always so supportive of each other. There's never any envy or jealousy in that. I'm not talking about like people outside.
I feel envy for all of you at times. I felt it for each single one of you. I will admit it. I felt gross envy. That's been like, I wish this wasn't happening for her because I want, like, it threatens my bottom line. Like I'm talking about a base level. Not that I would really organize to take it from you, or if a genie showed up and was like, well, you can take this from Noah. I wouldn't say yes, do that. But there's this, the inkling feeling of like,
well, of course,
like that jealousy. I felt it, but
inkling. That's another word.
I wouldn't.
Doesn't sound right.
I wouldn't. But with girls chat, I will say when I feel jealousy, it doesn't last long at all.
Yeah,
and like,
it's a fleeting passing.
It goes away so much faster. But there are times that I do struggle with it still. But I'm just like I just expect more from. I just want other because my friends take it so personally, and they're like, she like didn't say anything about my baby, and it's like. Because there's only one of two options. Either she didn't notice you had a new baby, or she's jealous. And I don't think it's possible she didn't notice you had a new baby, or a new car, or a new house, or a new haircut.
Or maybe she just like feels like shit or something and has her own thing going on. But
that's jealousy then.
She just like generally feels like shit and doesn't have the energy to make a big show out of how much she loves your baby.
I don't know. Then don't go see the baby.
Yeah.
I think you got to rally for a friend who just had a baby and ask a lot about it. And also don't like text your friend who you're jealous that just had a baby and they're maybe getting a lot of attention. Don't text them. Is it hell? Are you doing so bad? Is it so tiring? Because you want it to be. You want her to answer yes so badly because you're jealous that it's not that hard for her. We got to go to break. We'll be back after this.
So speaking of babies,
yes.
My brother had a baby this weekend also.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Wait, this isn't your first time being an uncle, right?
No, double uncle. He's got 2 daughters now.
Oh my God! Congratulations!
Yeah, it's another kid.
What's your brother's name again?
Adam.
That's
Adam
right. He
and
looks
Tori
like Bob
had a
Saget.
baby. Yeah, he looks like Bob Saget.
He does. He was so comforting to see him.
He's a very comforting guy too. He's a lot like Bob Saget.
I love him. I loved hanging with him after your wedding. So, what's the baby's name?
It's not public yet, so I don't want to say.
Got it.
I don't even know if I'm
Nameless
supposed to know
baby.
what the name is, honestly. But I was told surreptitiously via text by someone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why isn't it public yet? Is this a Jewish
I don't know. Maybe I have no idea. No one's told me. He didn't tell me the name of the baby. Like you know how normally when you have a baby, you get a text with a picture of a baby and it says, "Welcome, Jennifer Aniston II into the world."
Yep.
I didn't get that. I just got a picture of the baby and
with the weight and the length.
Yes.
By the way, no one cares about the length of your baby. I've never once been like, ooh, interesting.
How
like,
many
I don't
inches?
even know what it's supposed to be. Weight, I can kind of guess, like, okay, that seems underweight. That seems like, whoa, she's definitely torn up from that. That's an interesting detail, but length, no one cares.
Unless it's like really small, like 1 inch. Then it's interesting.
Can you tell us why length is important? Like why anyone even includes that? Like I get the weight. The weight gives you the length already, kind of.
Probably they include it because that's just the standard information the hospital gives, but like no one but the parents. It's not important information to anyone but the parents so that they can monitor the growth.
Can I guess what the average baby length is? Like I'm gonna I literally don't know, but I'm going to guess 18 inches.
I'm going to say 14 inches.
Average length for a full-term newborn is 19 to 20 inches.
Okay, great.
Nailed it.
So yours is a little not to term. But do you guys do that when you calculate feet or like inches of something? Like I just was like, oh, this is what a
that was a good way to do it.
And then I go, what's a piece of paper? Because a piece of paper is 11 and a half inches. Does everyone else determine
a ruler?
a
A ruler is 12 inches.
But you don't encounter rulers as much as you encounter pieces of paper, wouldn't you say? Like a piece of paper is like like a printer piece of paper.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of knows that.
Sure. No, what you're saying makes sense. I've always used ruler.
And then 4 inches underneath 11, you just think of boyfriend's penis. That's what you do.
That's what I think of.
Yeah, right. And then the
wingspan.
Your wingspan is usually your height, and I know I'm 5'9".
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
So when you do your arms out, that's how tall you are?
I think you're an anomaly if it's different, but it's almost like exactly the same. Isn't that
I have pretty
so
long
interesting?
arms. I would like to measure my wingspan and test.
You
got to
do it.
Yeah.
We got to do this. That'll be very interesting. So, okay, so your uncle again. That's so exciting.
Double uncle. I'm excited to be a double uncle. I'm excited for my other niece to get a little older so I can start having conversations with her.
Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's. I'm just glad that that I have a sibling that's having kids. Takes the pressure off me. I want to
so
be
nice.
around kids in a very arm's length way. And this is, I'm going to go
Which
next
is probably,
year.
based on you, 3.5 feet.
Yeah, exactly.
3 feet and an inch. Yeah.
That's 4 pieces of paper. I want to go like trick or treating next year on Halloween.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to, I think that stuff's fun. I want to take them to an apple orchard sometime.
Oh,
but I don't want to raise them.
Not the fun uncle, but you're an uncle. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's so sweet. No, I feel the same way. I'm so happy that my sister has kids. It really, it's not about the pressure because I don't think my parents would ever have put that on me. Because I just make so much money and give them free dinners. But I will say that just getting to be around kids and having kids like care about you. But I will say that like I was at the Andrew's wedding this weekend, and I'm like, no one gives a fuck about the aunt, man. No one, aunts don't get, no matter how cool of an aunt you are, it's not your special day. There was a part of me that was like, I want a kid so that I can see them get married. Like that was like, I see why people have kids. It would be really nice to see them get married. But then I was thinking about like with climate change in like 30 years when my kid is, in probably 35, they'd take after me and marry late. So like 40 years from now, I don't know the venue space we're going to like, it's going to be, there's going to be hurricanes no matter where we are. So I'm a little like, I was just already freaking out about
the logistics of it. And you're like, this is too much trouble.
Traveling there. I'm going to be 80. I'm going to be 80 and everyone's going to cry when I get out of the wheelchair. But I will say that, there was a video taken of, Emily took a video of me crying at and Ari Findling was crying. Also sounds like
Ari Findling is he's like my wife. When we're together, Ari and I are like an old married couple.
Wait, why is that?
I don't know. Ari just like he knows how to like needle me. And then I
love him so
I
much.
respond in tow.
He's the only person that we'll be on the road together and someone will be like, will you get Nikki's backpack or whatever? And I'm like, no, I got it. And he goes, no, I'm not going to, I don't respect her. And like, I like love it. Like and because I know he does, but like he will say really horrifying things to me.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it. But he was crying. I was crying. Raina and Ashley from Girls Gotta Eat podcast, they were there. They were crying. So she films all of us crying. And I put it on my Instagram. And my sister told me that Forrest, who's 3, wants to watch that video constantly of us all crying, and then it cuts to Andrew. It looks like we're crying at him dancing with his bride because it's just like our a song playing, and then us all crying, and then it cuts to him and he's dancing with his mom in a wheelchair, or it looks like he's dancing with like a very old bride. But Forrest has become obsessed with this video, which is so cute when kids just gravitate towards something like that. But she said, I go, oh my God, this is so sweet. And she was like, I go, why do you think he likes it so much? She was like, guess we'll just have to see when you get married. And I was just like, wait, so I have to like, how are we going to do this? So we need to invite Andrew's mom to my wedding. I have to get her out of the, like, how, and then, but it was really cute. Final thought. Yeah, weddings are amazing. I'm on board. Please invite me to them. If I love you, I'll cry so much. It made me kind of want to get married, but also not because it's just, oh, that's what I was going to say about Andrew. He was the star of the night. And I feel like, a lot of times when Andrew and I have hung out, like I'm having these big moments and he's always there to like celebrate me and be so excited. Like, in the same way, like I get off stage at the roast and Brian, you and I hugged for the first time. Like your guys who work on things with you are so fucking pumped for you when it's over. And you feel like I'm usually the groom and he was the fucking room. You know, like he was the star of the night. And they were asking me the next day in the car, like, did anyone bug you? And I was like, it didn't even occur to me that anyone would give a fuck, like, that I was there. It really was. I was like, you guys were celebrities. Like when you walked in, we were all like, oh my God, I think they're coming. Like, it was awesome for them both to like have that of like, they were the biggest deal ever. And everyone was so swept up in how happy we were for them. It was awesome. It was awesome to see. And yeah, I'm so happy for those two. And then the next night we went to Taylor Swift again. I took them to Taylor Swift for Miami night 3 of her show.
Cool.
And that's when we were in that fucking box again. Thank you, Tom Garfinkel, for arranging that and being so generous with your private box. And I'm just so grateful to everyone who made this weekend happen. And obviously Taylor was just so extraordinary. And I gotta say, on Friday night, got to leave my box and go down to a seat in the crowd for one of the eras because I didn't want to abandon my friends all night. And the box was awesome seats. But I had a friend from St. Louis, Amy, from Carroll House Furniture. Amy, God, oh my God, why am I forgetting her last name?
Amy Adams.
Amy from Carroll House Furniture. She runs like a pet.
Isn't her last name Carroll House Furniture?
No, it's not. It's something Dubman. Amy Dubman from Carroll House Furniture. She's been a staple. By the way, her and her brother Brooke have been a staple in St. Louis television. They are like, you know, the classic local ad that's like they're a furniture supplier, warehouse, like not warehouse, but like a furniture store. And they always have commercials where she will always say, we're cutting prices because Brooke is out of town. Her brother's out of town on a buying trip. So while he's gone, don't tell him, but we're slashing prices.
Great angle.
So fun. So fun. So adorable. I grew up watching these ads. Come to find out, they are like major players in like pet rescue, and they have a spay clinic that they do free spaying for stray animals. They're amazing, and I did a charity show for them. I love them. Anyway, Amy had tickets to Miami. She had 3 tickets, and I guess she had a dropout for her third, and she got my number through Chris, and she was like, yeah, tell Nikki she can come down. And I went down for Tortured Poets Era, which is the newest one and the one that I am so enthusiastic about, and I got to watch it like 5th row, section A2, if you want to look it up, Swifties. And you know how I feel about the bridge to The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, like where she's stomping across the ground and she's marching and she's going to battle. I can't tell you what it was like to see that up close. It was so emotional. I cried again. I don't usually cry at Taylor Swift shows. I'm usually just so swept up and having fun. Like I don't get like that kind of emotional, but I was like, and I was trying to film it. And so she's like, and for you know, right before she goes, she's like, for spark, and I just, what is the line? Can someone give a message to the smallest man who ever lived? And she's going to her spot, right, to start the march. And then she turns and she goes, were you sent by someone? And so, but she goes, and I don't risk no shooting, but I won't do it. And she's singing that part and she's walking up and I'm filming it and I have footage of me filming it. And I go, I'm really conflicted right now. I don't know whether to film it or to live it. I don't know what to do because if I film it, I can't live it because I'm getting this footage for Swifties. It needs to be perfectly centered and I have to watch the phone like I have a million times of it on TikTok of this exact thing. And I go, I don't know what to do. And she's like, a message to the smallest man who ever lived. And I go, I'm going to live it. And then it just cuts off. And then I was like, are you sent by someone? And I fucking lived it so hard. And I would just implore anyone who goes to concerts to put down your phone and like fucking live it because it was so fun. And then after Torture Poets, I just said, bye, Amy. Thank you so much. But before I left, I said what I thought might be one of my favorite lines of my entire life. And I turned to Amy right at, like, it was in transition from like down bad to whatever. And there was some moment where it was kind of like Taylor was obscured and we were all kind of like talking and and it was just, it was after, But Daddy, I Love Him. And I was like, I had like an orgasm of emotions for But Daddy, I Love Him. It was the start of Torture Poets. And I just got into the seats right in time and she comes out. And she's like, you know, I forget what the line is. I was there when the West was won, and I got there right in time, and I'm like, I'm here! Oh my god! And it was like perfect, and then I sing the whole thing, and then she finishes it, and then I turn to Amy, and I just go, I am so glad Brooke is on a buying trip. And then I was so happy with the line. I texted Chris as soon as I thought of it. But it was such a good weekend. I'm exhausted from it. And there's a little bit of guilt of being exhausted from not working.
I know exactly how that feels.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't do anything work-wise? Because you went to Utah, right?
I went to Utah this weekend, and I am exhausted.
We'll talk about that on tomorrow's podcast. I honestly can't wait to hear about it, because I'm glad you commiserate, because I'm struggling with because usually if I've had an exhausting weekend of work, I feel like I can muster sympathy from people, and it helps me get through my week of work. And this one's just you went to a wedding and saw Taylor Swift twice. Wah, wah. But I am exhausted from it. But we'll have another podcast tomorrow. We'll see you then. Thank you for listening. Don't be good. Bye.